Welcome to another episode of RGN Interviews in Lockdown. Today I'm with Tempest Minerals Managing Director, Don Smith. So Don, the company's been established in the Yalgoo region of WA for several years, but how does the recent rebrand to Tempest Minerals really encapsulate a broader focus now?
It's an excellent question. I guess the company used to be called Li3. It was a purely lithium-focused explorer, and the board felt that due to the saturation of the market, that a more risk-weighted approach was in order, and they bought out the company that my colleague and I started, which was called Warragul Mining. And that new company, which now has a diverse nature, lithium plus precious and base metal focus, that we renamed as Tempest. And the name comes from a number of sources, but the main one was Tempest, very roughly translated from Latin is the time is now, and we believe the time is now is a good slogan for what we're trying to achieve.
Perfect. So how would you describe the company culture that's been developing at Tempest, and what makes your organization sort of stand out against other explorers in this heavily contested arena?
Well, it's a good question. Also, one of the answers to that is that we have a data-driven culture, and I suspect you're going to ask me more about that. And we try and live and breathe that. So a lot of companies are talking about the digital revolution in mining and this kind of thing, and we're actually trying to live it. So we have a paperless office. All our work done in the field is done through apps, some of which we've developed in-house, and the data goes straight to our own cloud, which we can then review in our software, various software packages in real time if necessary. And I think that in that regard, we're very, very ahead, many steps ahead compared to our competitors.
Interesting. Now, you recently described the Yalgoo region as unloved in previous years, but increasing activity and new discoveries are really helping to enlarge that region of WA. So can you tell me a bit more about the activity that's going on in the Yalgoo?
Yeah, certainly. And we've been saying for some time that this area is unloved. As you said, we've been there for several years. And in recent times, probably the last 6 to 12 months, basically since COVID made an appearance, there's been a number of explorers entering the arena in Yalgoo. And there's been some high profile successes, such as Firefly Resources doing great drilling in Yalgoo town. Venture Minerals have made a rediscovery of some VMS mineralization nearby us. Emu, also some great gold hits, and some other companies drilling as well. So, and everyone's rushed into the area and having great success, and we're enjoying having neighbours, to be honest. That's good.
And so the company recently commenced a 2,500 meters RC drilling campaign in the first week of March at one of your projects. So what will you hope to achieve with that? And also bringing in what we talked about earlier with the digital focus, how's that coming in?
Great. Okay. So starting at the back end of that question, the digital focus is part of the work that we've done. Is we've collated huge amounts of data in the region, and we actually get out in the field and do a lot of mapping, and that gets truthing work that's been done before, and we found quite a lot of the information, historical information, has mistakes, and that's opportunities for us to exploit. And one of those is the Messenger project, which was previously a mining center in the early 1900s, and there was some high-grade shafts there where people were mining between 2 and 10 ounces per ton gold. And there was a state processing facility. So in Australia, in the early 20th century, there was a push from the government to set up these processing facilities around the country so that people doing prospecting and small-scale mining, they could bring their ore to these centres. And one of these was located at the Messenger project. And so since that time, it's been a very, very popular place for people in the region to go and hunt for nuggets and do artisanal mining and this kind of thing. But no one's ever really explored it properly. There was some very initial drilling done in the 1990s and one of those holes intercepted some very high grades, but the area definitely wasn't tested comprehensively. And so coming back to the answer about the digital is we collected all this data and used it to remodel some existing geophysics for the messenger, for the whole region, but they're included, the messenger project. And we discovered there's a very, very clear anomaly, two very clear anomalies sticking out from that data. And one of those anomalies matches where all the old historic mining was and continued much longer in strike than previously had been realized. And so now we coming to what we want to achieve from that is that we are doing wide space drilling over a long distance, because if the whole thing is mineralized as we believe it is, then that will be a very large, potentially a very large mineralized system that could support a standalone mine.
Yeah, and of course you have other projects as well on your portfolio. So
Indeed.
would you agree that maybe the biggest success so far in the region has come at the War West project, where, you know, the area is not too far from De Grey's famous Hemi deposit?
It's not too far in geological sense. In distance wise, it's quite a long way. The Warrior West project has certainly brought us some success in that we've proven a geological theory that we've had some time, is that not many people in Australia, Western Australia anyway, are looking for intrusive related gold systems. And we now have shown unequivocally that that is what this is. It's an intrusion which has come up and flowed very close to the surface, and there's and it's had some interesting alteration happen to it, which means that it's packed with gold. And there's a number of places where these high grade pods exist, and we tapped into one of those in our recent drilling there. But we also tapped into some new geology that no one knew about there. It's yet another extension to the Yelgoo greenstone belt, which hosts several world-class mines, including the Yalgoo deposit I mentioned earlier, Minjar, Golden Grove, yeah, and a number of million-ounce scale gold mines that are in the Yalgoo belt. And we've just found a massive extension to that rock unit that no one ever knew about. So we're reviewing that data at the moment while we're drilling at Messenger, and more news to come.
Great. And so elsewhere across the portfolio, where do you plan to be active maybe for the rest of the year?
So I was explaining this earlier today to someone. It's maybe a little, not unprecedented, but maybe a little bit different to some other exploration companies that tend to focus just on one thing. And what we're doing is we do drilling at one project, and while that's happening, we're reviewing and remodeling the data that we've drilled at previous. And so then we rotate around our projects and improve them all one by one. And then based on the results we get, we prioritize and reprioritize that. And so answering your question, we started at Warrior West, we did some work, then we're going to Messenger, we're drilling that right now, and it's looking very good. We've got some favorable geology already in our drilling. And then for the rest of the year, we'll probably go and look at the Malaya project, which is one of our larger projects, so it requires a lot of work, but it's also the potential to bring some of the larger success in that it has many tens of kilometers of the same rocks that hold the world-class Golden Grove VMS copper zinc deposit. And we have a large area of that has never been explored before. And so we're looking to do a lot more work there, including some drilling. And also we're looking to go to the Euro project, which has some thick, excellent grade gold intercepts historically that were not followed up due to the poor gold price in the 1990s, early 2000s. So those two things will be the priorities for our work for the rest of the year.
So a packed schedule there. So I'm wondering, what companies have you contracted for the current drill campaigns that you're planning? And also in other spheres of work, who are you partnering up with, looking at pre-discovery work and that such?
Sure. Okay. Well, in terms of the drilling, we've had 2 campaigns this year, or one at Christmas time. One there was Gold Tip Drilling, who's a small outfit that works. So they're based in the area in the Yalgoo region. So we were using some local talent, so to speak. And then for our more recent drilling, because it needed a bit more power than the rigs they use, we've been using Orlando Drilling out of Perth here, and they've also done some excellent work for us. Very classy operators. In terms of our other work, we have a relationship with Galt Mining Solutions, who provide a lot of our technical support, and particularly we have two doctors. Dr. Anthony Mori and Dr. Jean-Baptiste Payod, who are both doing the majority of the geology work.
Yeah. And so looking back over the past 3 or 4 years, how much more confident do you feel now with a more diversified portfolio of exploration assets in the base and the precious metals, and also still some in lithium, I believe? So how do you feel with that under your belt, and also still being located in one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world?
Look, we're very confident in our ability to do work and to make discoveries, and happen to, as you say, be in a world-class jurisdiction where we're not subjected to some of the more unfortunate circumstances that other jurisdictions are suffering at the moment. That has definitely helped us. And we look forward to continue doing more of that.
Perfect. Don, thanks for joining us today for this episode of RGN Interviews and Knockdown.
Pleasure to do.
Thank you.